Of the Year Awards, my colleague Trix Ngado caught up with HR experts to discuss what modern employees need. Take a look.
In between 2020 and 2022, a lot of shift has happened in the employer-employee dynamic globally. That is owing to the global recession that is being experienced right now, as well as COVID-19. And this is prompting organizations to shift how they interact with their employees to motivate them to stay on during a period that is even being called the Great Resignation. By that word, that phrase, you can tell that a lot of people have been opting out of traditional employment, and that is why we're having events such as the Employee of the Year Awards, just to motivate employees to stay on and view employment as something that has a potential for them and their careers. To start off, I'm going to talk about this with real estate manager Kevin Sanya, who's joining us just to have that conversation on how he has viewed this dynamic and what needs to be done by organizations to change how employees view employment. Thank you so much for joining us. Could you introduce yourself?
My name is Kevin Sanya. I work with Fusion Estates. I'm the general manager there. So Fusion Estates is a subsidiary of Fusion Capital Limited, a real estate and private equity company that has been in the market for 16 years with presence in Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda. Okay. And I'm glad to be here today.
All right. Could you speak to us about the shift that was witnessed owing to the COVID-19 pandemic? What did that do to employees, not just in Kenya, but the world over?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's known globally how the impacts of COVID-19 are still being felt at the moment. So many employers have had to shift in how they do their work, how they relate with the employees. You find that many employers decided to now set up proper workstations for their employees at home so that they can be comfortable, they can feel safe, they can feel that they have a good working environment from home. So companies who are able to quickly adapt to that were able to retain their employees throughout this period.
So this means that organizations now have to shift how they treat employees and how they operate in order to motivate people to stay on jobs. How has that been like for you?
I think the landscape has really shifted. Yes. You find there are a lot of millennials now coming into the workforce, and these are a creative generation. They do not like a lot of control. So you find that mainstream employers who used to check on you on the time that you come to the office, the time that you leave, are you productive? That doesn't work for them. They want a free space where they can be creative, they can think. So you just have to have technology and a support system that can support them to work from home. They don't need to be at the office at 8 a.m. They can come in at 9, come in at 10, the time that they're more productive, and leave late. So that flexi way of working works for them. So unless you are able to understand them and work with them, you can easily fail to tap into their potential.
But far from the incentives that come from benefits and what have you, what other ways that are more soft, what other ways are you employing to ensure that you incorporate people and make them feel like part of the team and just comfortable working in certain environments?
As the general manager at Fusion Estates, we predominantly have a sales force that does selling of our properties. So you find this kind of employees need to be treated differently. So for you to attract good talent that can be productive, you need to just think extra and not just the perks that you give them. A good working environment, good technology tools. Some also would require benefits. I think a research that was done shows that 92% of employees would prefer benefits as opposed to a good pay. So you would find for our case, we need to create that right environment, right set of benefits for them to be continually motivated.
Now this means that events such as the Employee of the Year Award also tap into that need by organizations to improve the outlook of employees on their careers. Speak to us about that.
So, of course, when an employee comes on board, they would want to know what else do you offer apart from just the benefits. So I think top on the list as Fusion, we provide a very productive culture, a very a culture that people can easily relate with from whichever area that they come from. And also, I think additionally to that, you would want to give these employees some incentives that are not really some motivation, encouragement, getting them to workshops, getting them to events like Employee of the Year Awards, so that they can feel encouraged, they can feel motivated. Employee of the Year Awards is something that has been missing in the industry. You really want to have a platform where employees from different industries can come together, can share notes, can feel that we are in this journey together, so they can be encouraged. Whatever you're doing, if it's an SME, if it's a big corporate, you can be recognized.
Yes.
And that's why these awards came to be, and we are happy to be part of it, just to continually push that employee conversation. I think the biggest motivation is at least you are recognized not just at a company level, but as a corporate level. And a bigger other incentive is that these employees are able to network. And one key thing that is shifting in terms of hiring is headhunting. So you would want to be in a place where you can be identified in the industry, so that it can be easier for you to maybe transition or even to grow in your career. So I'm seeing this as a platform growing for the next maybe 10 years, where there can be constant employee engagements, it can be constant collaboration as well, and growth. I think for the young people who are either seeking employment or already in employment and seeking growth, I think what I would say is one, seek for avenues where you can network with your peers and people who are above your level, so that you can learn from them. It's easier to see and learn than to be told and learn. So look for such avenues, and also have some patience. You know, the challenge with young people is they have this get-rich-quick mentality. So have some patience in employment, in careers. It takes time sometimes. If you interact with your friend and they tell you they've been in a certain position for 3 years before they got a promotion, and you've just been in that position for 1 year and you're feeling, why is the promotion not coming? So the networking really helps.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Sanya, for shedding light on what it's like to handle employees in the current environment. Also joining us is Assumpta Musyoka, who is a HR manager in the current climate, and she's going to shed light on some of the challenges and how she's approaching handling millennials and Gen Zs who are not very motivated right now to stay in employment. Thank you so much for joining us, Assumpta. Introduce yourself to our viewers.
Hi, my name is Assumpta Musyoka. I lead the People and Culture department at WorkPay. I've been in the industry for the last 8 years and counting. So it's been a journey, enjoying being part of the HR team, growing different teams, being here at WorkPay and interacting with the rest of the people at WorkPay. It's quite an interesting part of my journey at being the lead at WorkPay, yes.
All right, could you take us back to 2022, or rather 2020, where we had COVID-19. We also have had other issues that have affected the economies the world over. How has this shifted how young people are operating in the workplace?
We are looking at how we can retain these employees, actually the ones who are there, and maybe because of now the continuous recruitment that is happening, because of job shifting that is happening. Because I tend to believe since COVID happened, those jobs have actually opened up, and the other model of working have come up continuously. So that has brought about the shift in terms of the flexibility, the hybrid model of working, and I think it's what majority of the companies are trying to practice currently, to ensure that people are comfortable and there's a lot of work-life balance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as we stay on that, could you elaborate on some of the moves that organizations are now making to ensure that they meet the needs of people in employment? Because right now, while they are opting out, there are ways that organizations are adapting to ensure that they keep them in the fold.
I'll start by saying, for any successful company, for any success to happen in any business, we need to look at the talents that we bring on board, and we need to take care of our employees. And I think that's where Employee of the Year award comes in, because we need to recognize our employees, we need to award our employees for giving their all, going over and above to make sure that we are going on well in our organization, that we are achieving our targets in our organization. So for any employee to be happy and to enjoy that space, they need to be recognized, they need to be awarded, they need to be praised. And I think when you're looking at Employee of the Year award, we call it a tier. That's where we are trying to pass that message across with different industries, with different businesses across different industry sectors. So yes, it starts within the organization itself, but now we are bringing different industries so that we can all collaborate in praising our employees.
Now let's talk about the Employee of the Year award. Why is this important, and how is that going to step into the gap that will ensure that there is motivation amongst employees, not just at WorkPay, but also in the general employment circles?
This is the second time that Employee of the Year award is happening at WorkPay. And we've launched this initiative, as I've said, just to appreciate our employees. And for any person who wants to collaborate with us, who wants to join us come next year, we'll advertise again as we did this year, and we'll be able to reach out to many as possible. So when they get to our website, they'll be able to see the link. And we encourage majority, that is the HR people. We also encourage the CEOs, people who interact continuously with these employees, to be able to vote for their people, rather to initiate their people to be part of the Employee of the Year award. Yes.
Now lastly, if you could give us a word of encouragement perhaps to some young people who's out there that would like to join in and be part of the Employee of the Year action, and also just in general, what would you say to them to motivate them about their career prospects?
Being intentional at work is quite an important thing, because as much as employers are looking for great talent out there, I think it's also important for you as an employee, when you get on board, to be very intentional, also to give your all. Remember, there are different types of key players in the organization. We have A players, who are the star employees. Then we have the average type of employees. So why not go there and give your best? Yeah. Then obviously having the support that you get from organizations such like WorkPay, how we are trying to encourage employees to keep giving their best and recognizing them continuously, you'll be able to grow continuously in your career. So your career trajectory won't be where you are at the moment, but by the end of it all, you'll get yourself being to places that you've never imagined before.
Thank you so much.
Now, I want us to just get into a discussion on World AIDS Day that, of course, was commemorated on Thursday.